Alright everyone, it's time for a garden update because things are going along well. You can see today's project, number one at least, was a massive composter, and this is alternating layers of green and brown as you're supposed to have, and then some stuff's just dumped on top. That's okay. Each layer was watered with also kelp meal added in, and this is just some regular chicken wire on these poles. It doesn't need to last very well. There's extra on the spool, but that actually helps it to close. And so this is going to provide an enormous amount of compost. You can see it's roughly 4.5 feet square, and then it bows out a little bit too. And that's a hell of a lot of bags of that leaf and twig and bark mix. A hell of a lot, probably 1.5 bales of straw. And that was from the stuff that was over here that's now mostly cleaned out, because I had to clean out this garden, make it look good. Now, we have to update you on the soil. These are catnip plants. These 3 here. Well, those were transplanted. This is the lasagna garden bed, and what that means is about 3 inches of really good leaf compost. And just pure leaf compost, nothing else, on top of a layer of about 2 bags of this material, which is mostly brown, with some hay, mowed together to homogenize it a bit. It's still light and fluffy, but that's basically underneath that compost layer. And that's really good soil. For several years, that will be worm-rich. It will be extremely good to grow things on. Now, that's compared with this hugelkultur bed. Now, what this is similar, but it's got also logs in it, and it's raised up a little bit further. Now, I decided that for the 3rd bed that I'm going to do this experimental stuff with, I'm going to use the lasagna garden. I'll tell you why. The hugelkultur lasts longer, supposedly, but it takes a hell of a lot more effort and a bit more materials. I'm not willing to put that much effort in a short spring that I'm having. The problem being that already we've been delayed so often. No, I don't have time to make another hugelkultur bed, even if I would like to. And this bed over here already has biochar added to it. This soil here is completely dry, and it's still a darker shade, specifically because it has the charcoal added into it. That will continue to add carbon in that lowest layer for the next 100 years. It will outlive me, so there's no problem with that. And I'm also going to have a few more of these. These are straw-bottomed, just wooden planters. They'll look nice, you know, put some perennials in, maybe a few vegetables, whatever. There's extra wood over there. I repaired the fence mostly. And then you can see these are the 4 beds that won't be raised this year. The bricks were removed. I've got to obviously go through that. Some of them are still in there, but I've got to go through that. These are just going to get cow shit and peat moss. You know, that's the brand I'm using. You can see the absinthe plant came back, Artemisium absinthium. And there are a lot of extra pots this year. Those will all get filled with soil, and then perennials from Ace Hardware. And Ace, very kindly, sold me basically all of the mulch here. The bricks I brought, the mulch and the leaf composter from Ace Hardware, just so you know where to go if you're here in Rutland. And what I'm going to do here, other than the stuff that's being put in the bottom of those planters, because I do have 2 more of them, I believe, the rest of this actually is going to get mowed together with those 3 bags of material over there. And what I'm going to do is that's going to form the bottommost layer here. Again, lasagna gardening. I'm going to double mow it this time. I want to see whether mowing it a little bit more or less is better. I really do. I want to experiment with that. And I'm going to put it in here, and then I'm going to put the leaf compost, about 12 bags on top. I still need about 2 bags to fill this bed completely. But these are all raised so much more than they have been in the past. It's incredible. And right now, by the way, it's only average temperature for this time of year, but I've got a t-shirt on because it has been 20 degrees below normal for so long that it feels almost subtropical right now. There's a little bit of a breeze, but I don't even notice it. Honestly, I'd like to use these as benches because they're really, really soft and they're really convenient. But you can see all the bricks over there. So these 2 will each have 3 rows of material in them, corn and beans, that's all. These 2 will be other hot weather crops, peppers, tomatoes, some zucchini, maybe a couple of cantaloupes. These 2 beds here which will, this one's hugelkultur, this one's lasagna gardening. I get this two mixed up. They're both Italian foods, what can I say? Those will have the cold weather crops. So you got cabbage, collards, lettuce, spinach, and also some cucumbers, which I know are a hot weather crop. This is the herb garden. You know, you've already got the catnip. It will have chamomile in one corner. Then the rest of it will be a mix of basil, oregano, some thyme, lavender, you know, just the basic culinary herbs and spices and things. And then on the end, this is the last thing for this particular year anyway. The end here is going to be expanded. Expanded about 6 inches that way, and probably about 6 inches that way. Raise it up, again, lasagna garden, and that'll be all. Like, quite literally, that's the garden for this year. Next year, though, you've got to understand, these pikes are in a very peculiar location. It's exactly 7 feet from this fence. That's so that this can be 4 feet of bed, 3 square beds, 4 by 4, and then 3 feet of mulch, and then it takes you right to here and connects to this area of pikes. That's exactly where I'm going to be expanding the garden next year. And that's probably its final form on this side. I will be adding a new garden in due time. Actually, technically 2 new gardens, but that's enough for now. So that's about all. You can see again, some sticks sticking out. Sticks sticking out in the hugelkultur, some lasagna garden, and other various beds. That's about all. Peace out.